My name is Trudi Weickum. I am co-owner of Classic Touch Pressure Washing and Panhandle Power Wash Supply. We have been washing full-time since 2007, part-time prior to that. And we were in the industry for 6 years full-time when we changed two houses. One was a $5 million house that took 5 years to build. The other one was $500,000 house that was a homeowner private. The $5 million house, we changed the color the night before closing. These homeowners waited 5 years for their home to show up, and their light blue home was now a beautiful neon green. This was devastating to me. I had no idea what happened. We were educated, we were experienced, we had the newest equipment, and I had no idea what happened. We were washing with 1% downstream and had no clue. In that 1 month, it would have cost us $77,000 to repaint these two homes. That would have put a lot of contractors out of business. So I started investigating and trying to figure out what was going on, what happened. I had a lot of doors shut in my face. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody owned up to it. Nobody knew, actually. A lot of the stores, the paint stores, nobody knew anything about it. A lot of contractors didn't know about it. They thought they did something wrong. So for 14 years, I've been digging into this issue. I've been testing paints. I've been testing products. I've been testing all different colors and brands. Why is it not going around? There we go. It's supposed to do it by itself. Anyway, so this is where I started with these huge boards. And then my husband's like, honey, you can't keep lifting these heavy boards. So they went smaller. I probably need a clicker, but this is a White House. So as you see, it's all different colors. So we have the color, I wish my thingy worked, but anyway, I'll just keep clicking. So over the years, I've been noticing a lot of different colors changing from contractors. They've been sending me pictures. And the telltale sign is, do you know how to do this where it just scrolls? Because my son set it up, but it's not scrolling. See if you can do that while I talk. Anyway, so what we do over the, what I tell contractors is when you get to a job site, walk around the house and see the sunny side of the home. If it's faded, that's a good telltale sign, because the natural elements are going to break down this pigment on the paint also. When I get to a home, I always do a test spot behind an AC unit or a bush. I use straight SH because it will change quickly. The $5 million home we changed, it was a very pale light blue. It looked the same when it was wet. It looked the same when we left that night. When it dried the next morning, it was a different color. The paint manufacturer, the rep came and took a sample. They took it to the lab. There was no evidence of SH. There was no evidence of surfactant. They wrote up their report, and they came to the conclusion that it was washed incorrectly. So me being me, confronted them and asked them, so how do we wash it correctly? And they had no idea. Does that work? Okay. So I called corporate and asked questions, which I do. The last time I called corporate, I acted like, well, I am a contractor, so I asked them, I said, I have this roof to wash. The homeowners, the insurance is going to cancel their policy if they don't clean their roof. And I said, it's got this paint on it that will change if we wash the roof. If we get any of the bleach on this house, it's going to change. How do we wash the roof? And they suggested that we wrap this 2-story, 3,000 square foot home in plastic. That is what they told me to do for this home, to wrap this home in plastic so I can wash the roof. That is not feasible. That is not something we can do in our industry. So over the years, I've been testing a lot of chemicals. This time I've been testing, I tested the Cleansol BC, which a lot of you guys know. I've also used the Benjamin Moore, Valspar, and the Sherwin-Williams. So what I did is I've taken the paint that I know would change, which is this one. This is the paint that was on the house, the $500,000 house that we changed because we did buy the paint to repaint the house, and then he went and got it repainted. So I know this changes. And I took this paint to the other stores and matched it up. So I used Cleansol BC. It didn't change the color, but it also didn't remove the mildew. So in my test, this failed. So, thank you. So I got this new company reach out, and he said they have this new cleaner, Patriot Car Care, and it's roof and siding cleaner that you can downstream. So I tested it, and it's the first time I've tested. I'm going to test it on other things, but it didn't really remove the mildew. I'm going to test it on other things, and it didn't change the color. It kind of lightened it up as you see the streaks. But I'm going to test that a little bit more on like vinyl and other things because I'm curious, because it's downstreamable. If it works on vinyl, I mean, our houses don't look like this. I just use it to see if it will remove mildew. But if it'll downstream and it'll take it off vinyl and hardy board and it won't change, then this is a game changer for us because we can downstream it. So I'm gonna play with this a little bit more and see what I can do with this. So hopefully this works, but for this and the mildew, it did fail, but I'm still gonna work with this a little bit more and see if I can work with them and see if we can tweak it a little bit and get it to work. Somebody suggested I try Gold Assassin, which is a degreaser. Obviously, it did not kill the mildew, but it didn't change the color also. And I take suggestions from contractors. They always say, have you tried this? Have you tried this? So I try it. Now, this is my 1% SH. Obviously, we know that's going to kill the mildew. And obviously, we know it's going to change the color also. Now, the one product I did find that works is Green Ox Renew. It's a hydrogen peroxide-based product. It does kill the mildew, and it doesn't change the color of the paint. It is not downstreamable. It needs to be used through a pump-up sprayer, which is going to take more time. The chemical's more expensive. So if you do come across a house with this paint on it, with the pigment in it, your house wash is going to be 3 times at least as much. It's going to take you 3 times longer to wash this house. So you have to educate your customer. You have to tell them this is what's going on. This is the only way to wash your house right now. And they're going to have to pay for it, or they're going to have a dirty house. So I have a board right here. I'm going to spray this. I'm going to show you how quick a sample board is going to change on you when you use straight SH. Oh, here's my little board. I'm not going to spray it on the carpet, so I'm just going to spray it just a little bit, and I'll show you in a minute how quick it's going to change. As long as my husband gave me good at SH, he better. Anyway, as you see, this was a roof. Somebody cleaned this roof, and the overspray went on the patio. So it's just not siding. It can be anything. So when you test a house, you have to test every painted surface, the trim, the patios. I've even started seeing where stain is failing. So we got to make sure you test everything, and we're liable for this, guys. I've been fighting it. 12 years ago, I talked to a lawyer in Miami, tried to get a class action lawsuit, not to get money. I wanted the paint manufacturers to own up to this. I wanted them to make it known. I wanted them to tell the painters. I wanted them to tell the homeowners this is an issue and make them aware of that, so we're not liable to repaint their homes. That didn't work. The lawyer said we had to have a specific paint. It is not a specific brand, it is a pigment. I had a guy yesterday, or 2 days ago, sorry, that sent me a picture. He had a Behr paint change on him. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there. It is not Sherwin-Williams. It is just not blue, and it is not an organic pigment. I have found the pigment. I went into a store. I had my regular clothes on. I was not in my wrap truck. I told them I was a homeowner, and I've had 3 contractors come to my home, and they would not wash it, because it had this paint on it. First, they acted like I was stupid. They said that the contractors used too hot of a mix, and I was losing my mind because I just wanted to just yell at them because I knew what was going on. They suggested the simple greenhouse wash, which failed. So I took it anyway, and I did my class with it, I did my test spot, and I did what any contractor would do. Okay, I did what the directions said. Didn't work, so make it a little stronger. It changed their paint. So I put my shirt on that said instructor, got in my wrap truck, I went right back to that store manager. I carried my board in, and I said, look, this is what your chemical did to this house. And she was amazed. She had no idea. She literally handed me the pigment, and she said, this is what we put in there. I took pictures of everything on that bottle. It was like Christmas. I had the SDS sheets. I got into it. I was looking at it, got everywhere. I got on the computer. I didn't even leave my office for probably hours. So I did find out that it is an interior primer colorant that they are putting in this exterior paint. It is manufactured in Canada and Mexico. So I don't even know if we did get a lawsuit that it could even do anything. It's not manufactured here. So there's a lot of variables that we're still dealing with. But now I've got my hands on the pigment. I am still working on figuring out what to do about it. A lot of doors are now shutting on me now because I call the plant in Canada. They don't know what I'm talking about. And it's also being manufactured in an automotive paint plant. So that's even another bringer. But as we speak, James Hardie Corporation is in litigation with the Sherwin-Williams because the paint is failing on their Hardie board. It's fading within 2 years. So I am letting the big boys hash it out. They can use their corporate money because I don't have the money to fight corporations. And hopefully, James Hardie wins, because if they win, then that helps us be less liable for this issue. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Hopefully that they do win, so then I can start moving forward for us as contractors, and hopefully I can get the orgs behind us. Hopefully the PW&A will help me dig deeper into this and back me, because I'm just one contractor fighting for all contractors on this issue, and I'll continue to do so just because it's such a huge problem. It's been going on since 2005. I think the first one was the White House that I got my hands on, and that changed 2005. And when I got my hands on the pigment was manufactured starting in 2005. So I got my timeline correct. But it's still being manufactured today. It's still being put in paints today. And this problem is not going to go away. So please do yourself a favor. Save your money by not painting a house. I'm not a painter. I don't want to paint houses. Test everything. It takes 2 minutes. Hook up your garden hose, take a little paint. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's how quick that changes. I mean, you can pass it around. You want to? It's still wet. It's still wet, so don't get it on your clothes if you're not wearing your wash clothes. Anyway, so just make sure you guys test everything and protect yourself from this, because it can get costly. And if you do not have the correct insurance to cover this, which I invited an insurance agent to come and speak, she's going to do it after the plant and property protection, you are going to pay for this. Oh, I got lots of time. So you will be paying out of your pocket to paint this house. I had a local contractor that called me. He said, Miss Trudi, you talk about this all the time. I didn't believe it. He said, but I just changed this house and the deck. He said, my insurance company is going to cover me to restain the deck, but it won't cover the house. He said, because the house is negligence, the deck was an accident. To me, if I wash a house and it's got a deck and I don't pre-wet the deck, to me that's negligence. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm not paid to do that, so I'm going to protect that, and I'm going to do my job on the house, but it is what it is. But anyway, I think we got the mic. Anthony? You want to hand the mic? Does anybody have any questions? He's got one back there, that guy right back there. Oh.
Could you come up with a disclosure for the owner to sign to protect you?
No, we've had a lot of guys put waivers in their contract, but if you put a waiver in there, you have to prove that you did everything you can, unless you've got a video of you doing a test spot and doing everything you can, and then you did a test spot, it came back negative, and then you did the house and then it miraculously changed, which, by the way, it has. I've seen houses that look like it's got chicken pox because they did touch up with different paint. So they've got this beautiful blue house, and maybe the, you know, the nut, or not the nuts, but they're like the screws or whatever, and they touch up the paint. So all these little spots. And so they wash the house, and all of a sudden these little green spots are all over this blue house, and it looks ridiculous. Or they paint one side. So make sure when you do go to a house that's painted, ask the questions. Hey, have you repainted? Have you done any touch-ups? And also, you know, we washed the house, well, not me, my husband, even though he knows. He did test the body of the house, but they just repainted the ceiling and the porches. It was a beautiful 3-story beach house, 6 porches. He changed all the porches. It was $6,000 just to repaint these 6 ceilings of these porches. So ask the questions if anything's been repainted. Test everything. Just even a Q-tip, just a little spot, just so you can see. You're going to know it's going to, when that comes around, it's going to be a green color. And it, like all these, oh, I guess we're done. It's going to turn green. I've seen some, if it's a red color, you can see a pink tinge to it. But just make sure, but no, a waiver, it's hard to hold up. I mean, your hands were the last one to touch that house. So you got to just be careful, I think.
On the test spots, you mentioned that first house, it would look fine when you left, but after it dried, it's going to change.
Right.
So when we do a test spot, do we do it just like a normal house wash on that little spot, rinse it off and wait for it to dry?
That's, use straight. That's why I use straight, because if you use 1%, it takes longer. Because, you know, on the lighter blues, they use less of the pigment, so it's going to take longer for it to come out. So if you use straight, just a little tiny dot. I've seen guys that do a test spot and it looks like they took a bucket of, I'm like, this big, this little spot, it's okay, just a tiny bit. I mean, there's probably a picture up there. It just looks like they just throw a whole bucket of bleach on there. I'm like, what are you doing? But just a little spot is all you need.
Is Trudi?
Yes.
So I saw online that you mentioned a magenta color.
Yes, magenta R3.
R3? Mm-hmm. Is that the only one as far as you know right now?
That's all I've found right now. But if I keep asking contractors when they reach out, and if you test spot a house and it changes, see if they've got the can. Send me the color code of that. And when I was at the PWNA, I did my class. When I got finished doing my class, somebody had used AI and put in the magenta R3. He's a great contractor, nothing wrong with him, he's great. But what the AI does is it pulls all the information from the internet. It cannot distinguish if it's good or bad information. So it pulled all the information and it said, it's okay to wash this if you weaken the strength of the SH. That is so incorrect. If it is strong enough to kill the mildew, it is strong enough to kill this pigment in there. So make sure that the AI is not always correct. So Google is not always your best friend. So 14 years of testing and education is, is more more correct than one button from a computer that doesn't have his hands on it and all the knowledge and testing. So, any other questions?
Question for you. The sheen of the paint, flat paint is more porous than like a satin or the gloss. Have you found the sheen of the paint factor into these situations?
Nope.
All I'm saying is like a flat paint is more absorbent to fluids than a gloss. So I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with it as well.
It doesn't. We found in contractor grade paint that the $5 million house had top high-end paint on it. The $500,000 house had mid-grade paint. We've seen it with contractor grade. We've seen it with all different flats. All different paints. It's a pigment that can be put in any paint, any brand, any finish, any grade, and it's scary to us. It's just crazy that this is happening, but it is. But it can be put in anything. So it's not just Sherwin-Williams. It happens more with Sherwin-Williams because that is the largest paint manufacturer in the world. So if you have a subdivision with 100 houses, probably 90% of them are going to have Sherwin-Williams on it just because that is the largest paint manufacturer in the world. Any other questions?
Is it just for vinyl? Is it just for hardy plank, not vinyl sided?
If the vinyl's been painted,
So
yeah, anything repainted. If it's so hardy plank, I've had a lot of guys call me panicked. I've talked them off the ledge many times. They're in the truck. Miss Trudi, there's streaks all over this house. And I'm like, calm down. What's the siding? It's hardy board. I'm like, okay, have you, one side dried? I said, go look at it. Hardy board is a cement-based board. And it's like when you pre-treat a driveway, it's going to dry, it's going to absorb different because it's, it's porous in different ways. So hardy board's going to dry different also. So it's going to dry like quicker here, not here. So it's going to dry uneven. So it's going to look like it's going to change and it'll dry fine. So don't panic. Wait till it dries and you should be okay. But if you do your test spot, you'll be fine. That's all you got to do, just test spot. 5 minutes out of your life can save you thousands. I feel like a Geico commercial. But you can, but look at it, just this huge degree. Yeah, right? No, save you way more than 10%. It'll save your customer too. Yes.
So Trudi, you mentioned that in 2005, that's as far back as we can find this pigment, right? So pre-2005, what were they using in lieu of that pigment? And why can't the paint manufacturers go back to what we know worked prior to this new pigment in 2005?
Great question, and if anybody answers my question, I will ask them that. But nobody will own up to it. It is still our fault. We are still washing it incorrectly. And that's, like I said, when they did a test on our house, they took the board, they tested it, no surfactant, no SH visible. We washed it incorrectly. Tell me how to wash it correctly. They couldn't tell me. So what is it? They have no answers and they don't have to give us answers. We're just wrong because we're the last one to touch it. So unfortunately, until there's an answer, we just have to, suck it up and just protect ourselves. Yes?
Is that the reason they haven't washed any of these buildings?
Probably. No, actually, the reason they haven't washed these buildings is their equipment can only reach 2 stories, so that hopefully we can sell them 8 gallons. Trying to sell them a job, but they want to use their maintenance guys. I'm like, we can do it way quicker. We had a couple 10s and a couple 14s out there, and a bunch of contractors. I'm like, we can bring our rigs and get it done today. Record time, like all of us out work, done. Hey, maybe next year we can all get free lodging and just wash it. I'll talk to them about that. Probably not, but anyway, any more questions? We could. All right. Oh, yes.
I had this happen about 10 years ago on a brown colored house, turned yellow.
Yep.
And not right away, later, it slowly turned yellow. Come back, rinse
They were, I did have a couple, they did do that. So when we changed the $500,000 house, mind you, this is 12 years ago, so it's probably $2 million now, but they charged us $1 for each 5 gallons of paint. They said they couldn't give it for us free, but they charged us $1, which was fine. And we had the painter lined up, and then the guy had it paint, so we had all this paint, 60 gallons of paint, a paint we wouldn't use because it changes. I'm not going to paint anything with that paint because I can't wash it, and I'm not having a dirty house, which I probably have the dirtiest house because we wash everybody else's house. And then he sued us, and we had to go to court, but luckily my lawyer dropped the ball and lost the case, and the lawyer actually paid the 17 grand to the homeowner. So I have never known a lawyer to do that, and so if we ever get in this case again, we'll use him because I know if he drops the ball, he's going to pay for it. Yeah, so the perfect example, if you downstream, it will change slowly, and sometimes you don't catch it, and that's why I use full strength. And everyone's like, well, I wouldn't put full strength on a house. Neither would I, except for to test spot. Is that it? I think my time is up. We've got Jeremiah Jarrell coming up next with plant and property protection. Thank you, guys. Test.
Am I like Morgan Wallen coming on? You got the mic? I don't know that I can stand behind that podium.